What happened with Dark Souls? We ended up in a oh god. Okay. I mean, how can we break down this chain of events? I ended up leaving an area and exploring a little bit with some new items and things, and I went to a place that was called the Catacombs. And while exploring the catacombs and, you know, having a grand old time with, you know, skeletons that wouldn't stay dead, in very low light and, you know, less than bright areas, I fell all the way down a hole, missed the item I was aiming for, and just fell down into a cutscene. Met some skeleton blacksmith and ended up with a bunch of skeletons in wheels that have been absolutely clowning on me repeatedly. God, at some point, just after that, I don't know, there was this boss pinwheel or something for like the rite of kindling I got. I don't know, I walked in, I killed him in like 5 hits, that was easy. And then after that, there was like a little dark area that goes, and like the pop-up is called the Tomb of Giants. And it was all dark, but I was following sparkles, so I thought that was the gimmick. Turns out no. So I lost close to 30,000 souls falling off a ledge in there, that I just couldn't see because the entire thing's pitch black. And you apparently need one of 3 light sources that exist in the game. I know because I looked it up, because I was really frustrated. So, yeah, thank you. Are we just getting a big hydrate train? Yeah, well, while we're having Dark Souls story time, sure. But bottle? No. I will not. I'll take another drink in a second. So anyways, I was gonna play Dark Souls more today, but my plan was in the catacombs, because there's no way out except just going through it. So my plan was to just play a little off stream and get myself out of the catacombs so I could continue doing other things. So I managed to lose another 20,000 souls today by the time I got back to some place that looked familiar, and I said, fuck it, we're playing Hyperlight today. So that's what happened when in Dark Souls. Thank you for asking. I don't have enough cold water left. Stop. So the real Dark Souls experience, right? Like I'm having trouble finding out what people romanticize the game for. But like, I don't think the game is bad. Far from it. Like I enjoy it for what it is. How are you enjoying Dark Souls? Let me break it down for you. I think that Dark Souls is a fun experience, and I'm glad that there are people who really love it. I have had several people tell me that Dark Souls 1 is clunky. I kind of understand. I get it. I think game design as a whole has evolved past the need to make things unbearably difficult for the sake of extending game life. Because when people call the game NES hard, I don't think that's a compliment. I think when NES games came out and they could only fit so much on the cartridge, there are a lot of games where they would be ridiculously challenging to extend the game life, because you were going to be spending, you know, anywhere from 60 to 80 bucks depending on what year you're buying it. You know, playing Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden's got like 7 stages with like, you know, 3 or 4 levels each, whatever it is. You know, Contra's got however many stages, 7, 8, I don't remember. But they would make it ridiculously hard so that you would artificially extend the life of the game. I figured by 2011, as we have now learned, the need for that sort of game design would have passed. But that seems to not be the case. So when people call it an old school gaming experience, I don't consider that a compliment. I think for a fun gaming experience, you have to do certain things when it comes to game design. And I mean, you look... Now, okay, let me be fair. I'm not a game designer. I don't do shit in terms of design outside of like homebrewing D&D stuff. I am just an armchair critic. But I know what I like, and I know what I like seeing when it comes to design. You can look at anything like Mario Maker. You can find thousands and thousands and thousands of shit levels. Absolute trash. And the good ones you find, look at the ones you have fun with. They're the ones that are well marked. They're the ones that have good indicators for what you're supposed to do. They're a fun experience that isn't just frustrating. And if there's a funny troll in them, you have fun because the rest of the level is fun. Right? I don't think game design has to be this big thing where you make it hard for the sake of being hard. Right? Like, what's the problem with putting your little red marker there that you have occasionally? I've run into a couple in the area I'm in the catacombs that says treasure here, and it's a troll. One that says go up. What's the problem with putting one outside Tomb of the Giants that says you need a light source, or light source required, or something? That would have saved me a lot of frustration, because I could look at that and say, oh, well, I don't have one of those, I shouldn't be here. Right? Like, there are other misgivings that I have, I think, in, you know, like enemies around blind corners, blind falls, things like that, I think aren't fun game design. But beyond that, you know, like, the boss fights are a lot of fun. The enemy spam in tight hallways is kind of trash. But the Red Scrolls, if you're offline, everyone is by the devs, and I am offline. If you're online, there are locks that are placed by the players, and you can place them as well. So if you're offline, it's devs, and I know I'm offline, which means that the ones that are there are placed by the devs. How hard is it to give indicators? Right? I haven't spent, you know, in 2011, 80 bucks or whatever. I haven't spent 80 bucks on this game to, you know, need to have it artificially extended because it's dumb as fuck. Right? Like, I don't need enemies in blind corners when you're an hour from the last bonfire. I don't need him pushing you off the ledge because you couldn't see him coming. Right? Challenging, fine. Okay? I don't know anything about the bosses in Dark Souls at all, with the exception of Ornstein and Smog, because you can't avoid them on the internet. Everyone knows fucking Ornstein and Smog. You want to fight 2 bosses at the same time, they both do different things, they cover their each weaknesses, like their weaknesses. That's hard as a challenge. That's not hard for the sake of being hard. That's a challenging fight. That's fine. Right? Enemy spam in tight hallways around blind corners is not fun game design. Okay? Neither is dark shit. Okay? Players like to be able to see. It's not challenging to not know what's coming up. It's challenging to know what's coming up and have to, you know, plan to deal with it. It's not challenging to have to guess what's coming up and react to it, right? That's not fun game design. So how am I enjoying Dark Souls? I'm taking a break because it tilted me, but I think overall, half of the game is very fun, and the rest of it is exceedingly frustrating. And I'll be looking forward to the other entries in the series, hopefully making some different choices when it comes to game design. Thank you for your question. Let's get back to the game. I guess I should probably hydrate again. I'm sorry, that got a little bit long-winded. I just have a lot to say about Dark Souls. Well, not even about Dark Souls, about game design in general. I don't think game design is some hidden art, right? Like, I think you can, you know, I'll use Zoran as an example because, you know, if he's not here, then he has been here and he hangs out occasionally. You don't have to be a developer working for a big company to do things with game design. Modders of popular games do game design, and they do it well, right? Conflux is amazing. Conflux fixed issues with Divinity that I didn't know I had, right? I think people who make mods for games are, you know, they're maybe no different than I am, an armchair critic of the game that's putting something that they want to see in the game, right? Game design isn't like a hidden art. I don't think it's a, you know, too much to ask as a player to not hide information from me. Let me see what I'm going to be dealing with, and let me deal with it. Anyways. Long-winded. Shut up. Hey yourself. Fix the issues. I know it did have. True. On Dark Souls 3, like I feel like if I started on Dark Souls 3, I would never play 1 after the first like opening. At that point, like if it had cleaned up any amount of the problems that I have with 1 so far, I would never go back. Which is kind of why I wanted, you know, to go from the start, so that I could actually just see everything. Fundamentals, a lot of them, but they're not hard to understand. Exactly, right? Like, I just think it's not hard to look at the state of gaming now and say we don't need to artificially extend their life anymore, right? Game design has come so far, right? Like, who won about tutorial levels? The Ego Raptor, like on Sequelitis. Mega Man X is a great example. Like, show don't tell. Like, it's, you know, I love that video because it, like, I use Mega Man X and I use Shovel Knight as a really great example. Shovel Knight a little bit more modern, Mega Man X obviously a little bit more classic. It was 94. But game design has come so far now that, like, there are certain things maybe I expect from games, and maybe that's on me. Maybe I shouldn't expect it so much, but I expect games to not punish me for buying, right? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm not gonna call myself an old man, but I have issues with games, is all. Show another thing, show both. Exactly. I played with boss fight were cool, kind of easy but cool. Every little shit monster was agony. That's exactly my Dark Souls problem right now. Bloodborne's fastest pace. That like I would love to be playing like Sekiro or Bloodborne because it's a little bit faster paced and the game is balanced around not having a shield. At least with Bloodborne, because you have the little pistol like parry, right? I would love that. Am I gonna get crushed? On their flaws of game design. I haven't played Warframe, so I can't really speak to it. Well, it comes to design, zero proof to back it up. It's hard, right? Like when I say, you know, armchair critic, I'm like, I can be critical. I have nothing to back up what I'm saying, just experience as a player, right? But, you know, I can point to examples of things that I like that I think are good game design, right? And, you know, I can use stuff like Mega Man X and Shovel Knight all day. Right? Doesn't mean I have, you know, zero proof to back it up, because I don't need proof to back it up. Because I'm, you know, I can be an armchair critic all I want. I don't need credentials, right? I have obviously people who will agree, and I have people who will disagree, and that's fine. But they allow players to player defense to exceed the cap, max level 999 enemies. So the game is over for years. Once you exceed the cap of scaling, you broke it. Yeah, that's true. Gun to parry, the transforming weapon for the two-hand, or just a different type of one-hand attack. See, like, I dig that, right? I like the lack of shield is what swings it for me. Because if you have a shield, like if you have access to a shield, you balance things around having access to a shield, right? You might not think about it that way, but you do. If you don't have access to a shield, you balance things around whatever mechanic you have in place. If you can't block, you balance around the player being able to dodge. If you can use the gun to parry, you balance around the player being able to use the gun to parry, right? Having a shield makes for a slower game because you can have someone who, you know, holds shield up and walks through the game. They dump all their stacking endurance and, you know, it's no problem, right? It makes for a slow game. If you have, like, if you have just the gun to parry, then, like, you're obviously going for a faster paced game. It's a lot more movement, a lot more action friendly, right? There's a shield. There is a shield in Bloodborne? I didn't know it. I don't believe anyone uses it because it's trash and it's one shield. So if they have one single shield and it's not good, then that's fine. If they put in a shield and it was really broke, then that becomes a game design issue, and they should probably nerf it. Because if that one shield takes over the entire meta of what you're trying to do, then it's not a well-balanced experience. When the answer is just to use the shield, the question becomes, how fast can I get the shield, right? If it's shit, that's fine. You can use it as a challenge, or you can use it if you like it, then you're good. Dark Souls fixed that problem so well. For shields in Dark Souls, yeah, I love the shields in Dark Souls. They're all unique, right? Holding the shield button is never the best option. Parrying is fine. Parrying is really good, honestly. But, you know, different shields are good for different things.